I remember few days back watching a video by stand-up comedian Veer Das. Now one thing which struck my mind was when he said that if we just talk about the fact that we are different and acknowledge why we are different, instead of pretending that nobody is different and still secretly thinking that we are different, we all might finally be on the same page and be less different. Now, ladies and gentlemen, after hours of thinking, I've come to the fact that acceptance is necessary for the growth of a country. Now, for instance, let's say I have to compare myself with a child who is raised in a different corner of the world. Let's say the United States of America. Then we can never be compared. Reason being, my values are different. My genetics are different. My education is different. And according to science, two things which do not possess the same characteristics cannot be compared. The same goes with unlike fractions in math. Now, we have these factions in the human society which use human differences for their own benefits. We are blinded by the propaganda and agenda spread by these factions and do not take care of the actions which we take under the influence of these factions. Now, these borders are actually set up by these factions themselves. Let's talk about one such border. Let's talk about religious force. Take a moment, pause this video for a second and close your eyes. Imagine a world where there are no religious force. No India-Pakistan, no Israel-Palestine, no Iran-Iraq force, no Sudanese civil force. Well, now let's get out of this utopia. To untangle these threads, let's go back to its history. Religion in the very first place was never made to divide people. It was made in order to unite people who shared similar ideologies. But fast forward to 2022, right now these borders are actually being used in order to divide people, in order to make up walls between people. Let's talk about one more such fringe. If I ask you to picture a scientist, most probably you'll think of a man who will be dressed up in a white coat. Whereas if I ask you to think of a nurse, most probably you'll think of a lady. These prejudices to some extent do shape up our society. Because when people do not fit in the predefined images which are made up in our minds for them, that is when the conflict begins and again the third party gets to enjoy. Isn't it us who have set the definitions in our minds for the term perfect? Aren't these standards actually bars which we have made between people and their dreams? What we don't understand is somewhere down the line we start feeding these data in the minds of our children. That is when the problem starts. This makes children depressed because prejudices and discrimination increases the chances of depression in children, and this is factually proven. Now, with time, these children develop mental disorders and some even end up taking their own lives. Ladies and gentlemen, it pains me to say that our goals have shifted from developing together to us trying to grab the highest position in the social hierarchy. An article by National Geographic Society suggests that the main causes of wars are actually economic, religious and political reasons, and sometimes ideological reasons. But what if we were acceptant enough? Ladies and gentlemen, this reminds me of the tale of the monkey and the two cats. When we fight, it is always the third party which gets benefited out of it. The problem is very simple. We just need to be acceptant. We need to accept the fact that we are born with different belief systems, have a different thought process, and we cannot be the same and should not be the same. I mean, just imagine, world population is 8 billion. What would life be like if we had 8 billion Barack Obamas over here? Or maybe 8 billion Elon Musks, or even 8 billion Malala Yousafzais. Imagine booking an Uber and realizing that the driver looks just like you. has the same voice as you do, wears the same clothes as you do. Basically, just imagine cloning yourselves and having 8 billion copies of you. Life would lose its flavor. It'd get boring. There would be nothing to debate about, nothing to talk about. No TV shows, as everyone would be living the same life as you do. No Netflix, no one to work in the factory to help in the process of manufacturing a packet of chips for you. If there's just one color that exists, then how can we ever think of a rainbow? Pause this video once again and close your eyes for a minute. And imagine a world in which we people are acceptant enough to understand changes the human society has. We are smart and observant enough to accept each and every one without thinking of their own opinions on people changes and diversities. As the youth, that is the type of future that I want for myself. Thank you.